Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Hello and welcome to the Friday Fantasy Show from the Bottled Imp, exploring the realms of fantasy. My name is Ken Boyter and today we're taking a look at The Princess Bride. Yes! 80s classic, 87 I believe it was released. It's directed by Rob Reiner. And this is much loved over the years. So it's coming up for nearly 30 years. It's quite amazing. Now I do remember watching this once before, probably about 15 years ago. But let's see how well it has held up since then. The Princess Bride. What exactly is it all about? Well, basically, there's two stories. One is kind of a framing device. The setup is there's a kid who is sick and his mum's like, oh, you know, your grandfather's coming over to look after you. And he's like, no, I don't want that to happen. Boring granddad. No, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Well, of course it'll be fine because the granddad is Peter Falk. Columbo himself walks through the door. Who wouldn't want a story read by him? Honestly, come on. So you know it's opened up, it's a cracker. And by the way, the kid is played by Fred Savage, which he was in The Wonder Years all those years ago, which was a classic TV show when I was growing up. Anyway, so he's sick, Grandad, he shambles in, as you can imagine, and he sort of looks like an older Columbo. It's brilliant. And he starts reading this story, and the kid's like, okay. And it is The Princess Bride. And so therefore we cut and we get transformed into the actual story. And it is in a made up place called Florin. It's medieval, it's got that fairy tale feel to it, you know, it's medieval fantasy. And the story starts it's a little love affair between a farmhand called Westley and also a lady who, in fact, I've forgotten her name. How embarrassing. Anyway, she is Buttercup. That's it, Buttercup. What a lovely name. What a fairy tale name. And she is quite rude to this farmhand. He just treats him with a bit of, disrespect. It's like, farmhand, will you do this? Farmhand, pick up this. Farmhand, will you do that? And the farmhand, he is head over heels in love with her. And all he ever says to her is, as you wish. And that's it. And slowly they fall in love. She realises she actually is in love with him. And of course, it wouldn't be a story if it didn't have conflict and disaster. He goes off to seek their fortune. He goes, right, I'm off. We need gold. We can do better than just living on this farm. If I'm going to take care of you, okay, yes, that is a little bit sexist, but, it's medieval, it's the fantasy realm, it's that kind of thing. Then I need to go and seek my fortune. So off he goes. But I guess he's not brilliant at it because he comes across the dread pirate who actually kills him. She gets news that he's been killed. Now you can imagine she's heartbroken. It's true love. This is true love apparently. It's very rare. It doesn't happen at all for ages anyway, because it obviously happens occasionally if it's rare. But anyway, and she's heartbroken. And she kind of goes into mourning and life is all just rubbish for her. Her energies are sucked out of her. She's just low. She's feeling depressed. But there is an offer of marriage and it is from none other than the Prince Humperdinck. And so she reluctantly agrees. But she's not happy about it because obviously she still loves her true love. And it keeps cutting between that story and also the sick kid interacting with the granddad. There are various themes through here, and it is one of the themes, I guess you could say the theme, is cliches and tropes of the fantasy genre. There are archetypal characters, there is, i.e., for example, there's the big giant, who is actually friendly, but obviously very strong. Then you've got a sort of hero adventurer that's a swashbuckler, who's very charismatic, a little bit like the Puss in Boots. Maybe they've based that on that character. Then you've got the evil, dastardly kind of henchman. You've got various classic fantasy tropes that come through it, and they play about with them though. They have fun. This is a comedy. This is also a romance, but it's a comedy as well. And so they have fun with that. Then there's revenge. Now, revenge does run quite heavily through this film. In fact, it's one of the main driving forces for all of it. Because what happens is the princess, she gets kidnapped. Oh yes, she gets kidnapped. And they, obviously, the prince, this is before they get married, the prince wants revenge on whoever's kidnapped them. But there's also another person who wants revenge, and that's the masked man. You see him, he's just in a mask. He's a bit like Zorro, but he actually does try to get, he's got some sort of revenge going on. I don't want to give too many spoilers away, you see. And also, there's the swashbuckler character. He has got revenge as well, because somebody killed his father, and he's been seeking this revenge all his life. He knows nothing else. This is what he's been trying to do with all of his life. So revenge seems to run through all the way through this film. And towards the end, again, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but the revenge, when revenge is dished up and served, it is actually dealt with in a quite serious manner. And that is kind of like the emotional drive through this film, because it's very easy, if you're going to do a comedy, to not put it to not put any emotions in, and it just to be all kind of, you know, funny and action-packed, and we'll do this and they do that, and it's all just story-led as opposed to character-led. But with this, there is a bit of depth to the characters. And the acting performances make this film. Because without the acting performances giving, you know, playing it straight and taking it seriously, it could just collapse all around them, because it's comedy and it's fantasy. And so therefore you think, yeah, we don't have to take this seriously, we're just knocking about, it's just mucking about. And that can come across in performances. But the actors do a sterling job. You actually believe them. You warm to the characters, even though some of them are a bit cliched, but they do enough in their acting performances to not really, you know, to give a bit of depth to the characters. There's also, as I say, true love is one of the main themes as well. True love will conquer all. It's the classic fairy tale theme. And again, it's played genuinely. It's not played for laughs. It's a genuine thing that the characters believe in. They're good, fun characters. As I say, you warm to them. The script is sparkling. It's very witty. And remember, this film is nearly 30 years old. So when you look back at the special effects, yes, they're a bit wonky. Yes, the sets wobble a little bit. The monsters aren't brilliant. They're puppets. So the believability gets broken. But if it wasn't for the acting and the script and the actual story, then yeah, you would kind of be annoyed at that. But it's kind of endearing. It reminds me of Labyrinth. If you've watched Labyrinth, we've done a review of that. Similar vein, plus The Never-Ending Story. I've not done a review of that, but if you've watched The Never-Ending Story, it's the same sort of 80s vibe, the same sort of 80s fantasy feel to it. So there's a lot of love. It's a very charming film. The pacing, it does show its age. It's a bit ploddy in places, but again, you kind of forgive it because of the charming performances. As I say, the special effects could have been a lot better, but then again, if you think about it, all the other films were just as good. It wasn't below what was happening back in the 80s. It was just on course. There was nothing spectacular. I don't think anyone went, wow, this is amazing in terms of what they've done. But it passes the test in that respect. So really, overall, it is a good film. It's a lot of fun. It's family fun as well. And it's one of those films that makes you all feel warm and gooey. It's got a very good feel-good factor to it. It's a very satisfying story. Nice comic touches, nice comedy elements in there. In fact, there's lovely little cameos. Billy Crystal, he pops in, does a wonderful turn. There's also Peter Cook. I was going to say Peter O'Toole, but Peter Cook is in there as well. There's Mel Smith. He was a British comedian. Again, just make these little comic characters come to life. It's very warm. It's one of those films where you go, Christmas is perfect. It's not really a Christmas story, but it's like, it's a sort of film, it's on. You know, if it's on telly, you'd probably watch it. It's that kind of thing. So I definitely recommend it. Grab yourself a glass of wine, some mince pies this Christmas, and then stick on The Princess Bride. Definitely recommend it. The Princess Bride. A couple of things I will say. It's actually based on a novel that was written in 1973 by William Goldman, and I have yet to read the novel. I'm going to read it, review it, because I want to see the source material and actually how well they adapted the film. I think they did a good job, but I'm not 100% sure. So obviously check out the novel as well. And there was another thing I was going to say, but I've forgotten. Yay, I know, the sword fighting, yes. Check out the fight scenes. The sword fighting is good fun. It's got a great sense of humour that runs all through it, especially when they do the sword fighting. Anyway, there we go, The Princess Bride. Definitely recommend it. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, keep it unreal, especially if you're a princess. Aww.